Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
World Environment Day used to be about cutting emissions and planting trees, but this year the UN is asking us to think bigger. It's no longer just about reducing our footprint, it's about reimagining our economies, our lifestyles, and our relationship with the planet that we live on. China has its own vision for that as well. It's called Beautiful China, where development and ecology grow side by side. Today we'll explore why environmental action is evolving, how this idea fits into the global conversation, and why reconnecting with nature matters more than ever. We'll also share with you a conversation we had with Tahomina Sultana, a young woman with a dream to help people in her native Bangladesh. We're live from our studios here in Beijing. This is Roundtable. I'm Steve Hatherley. Thank you very much for being with us today. And for the show, I'm with Yushan and Yushan. First up, June 5th marks World Environment Day. It has long been associated with cutting carbon emissions, planting trees, and protecting wildlife. But this year's message from the UN asks us to think a little bigger. It's no longer just about reducing our environmental footprint. It's about reimagining the systems that shape our economies, our lifestyles, and our relationship with the planet as a whole. At the same time, China is promoting the vision of building Beautiful China, a concept that goes beyond cleaner air and greener cities. It reflects a broader effort to balance economic development with ecological well-being and create a future where people and nature can thrive at the same time. Today we're going to talk about that. We'll explore why environmental action is evolving, how the idea of a beautiful China fits into this global conversation, and why reconnecting with nature may be more important than ever. It is World Environment Day. Yushan and Yushan, I want to start with this. Have you ever had a moment, maybe you were traveling or maybe you were just in the city where you live and you suddenly felt wowed by nature? You suddenly felt, wow, this planet is beautiful. Have you ever had a moment like that?
Definitely, for actually several times or many times. And because I personally am a person who really love these kind of natural landscapes when I go traveling. So I think whenever I go, I would try to find a place that is maybe a forest or riverbanks or something like that. So I've had experiences like this is in places like in Yunnan or in Shenzhen or Phuket in Thailand. We visited several forests, and whenever I found myself in surrounded by these lush green and woods and wetlands, I just had that kind of peaceful mind, and I just feel so good can be surrounded by these kind of green environment.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I even feel grateful for being a human in that kind of environment.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And one example that actually stood out is that one business trip we went to Xizang or Tibet, and we climbed up to a little hill so that we can have a wider panoramic view of that whole landscape. It is a point that Yaler Zampo River, it's having the different waters mixing together. And then you can see different colors of that water and the mountains. And at one point, at that time, a rainbow just bursted out from that valley.
Just suddenly appeared?
Yes, and oh wow, I was totally, as you said, wowed by that view, and I almost cried.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you? Yushan, have you had a moment like that?
Yeah, for me, it dates back a little bit further when I was in middle school. I visited an area in Changbai Mountain in northeastern China as part of a study tour program. So since I went with the school, we were allowed into the local forest that usually doesn't open for public visiting. So during that trip, we followed a guide through the forest and learned how to identify a nationally protected plant called the Chinese yew tree. In Chinese, I think it's called 红豆杉, which is listed as a class 1 key protected wild plant in China. Usually, in order to find one, you need to dive very deep into the forest. And on that day, it was pouring. It was rainy and it was so cold, but everybody was so just excited because we have only one guide teacher, and he told us don't break any branch because you don't know what you might be taking, and these leaves, these wild plants, they might have like very high medical value, and you never know. So don't break anything. Just be careful. Walk where I've been walking, and do not ever think about taking any of these leaves back. So that was what we did, and we eventually discovered the yew tree. It grows extremely slow when we approach. It's just a very normal looking tree among all the other trees and twigs inside that part of the forest, but we later learned that the Chinese yew tree, they grow slow, but they are highly valued for their medicine properties. And in recent years, local authorities have been strengthened both on the cultivation and on the conservation of yew trees, while prohibiting their commercial harvesting and exploitation in the wild. That's very high valued, and it was such an honor to be part of that trip and
it's a cool moment.
Witness that kind of thing. You don't really see it in nature just like that.
It's a rare opportunity. Well, again, today is a special day. It's World Environment Day. Let's get into it. This is led, of course, by the United Nations Environment Program. They do it every June 5th, and the history, it goes back a long way. It goes back to 1973.
Yeah, the World Environment Day is the largest global platform for the environmental public outreach, and it's celebrated by millions of people across the world. And this year, the Republic of Azerbaijan is the host country, and the event goes under the theme, Inspired by Nature, for Climate, for Our Future. So this year's topic focuses, as you can tell from the title, from the theme, a lot on climate change, on the urgent signals the Earth is sending and the signals we choose to send in response. So the UNEP's global campaign calls on everybody to just step in, go further, and help steer a world already in motion. The question is no longer whether change is coming, but how humanity, how each and every one of us can guide it, and just how fast we're moving forward in this drastic moment when the climate is changing so fast and everybody cannot escape from it.
The theme, you said, inspired by nature, for climate, for our future. What does that tell us about climate action now, do you think?
World Environment Day in 2026 actually is focusing on these kind of pressing issues like climate change and on the urgent signals the Earth is sending and the signals we choose to send in response. And I think the whole platform that the World Environment Day is creating, it will rally the world around the urgency of climate action with rising temperatures, collapsing ecosystems, and disruptive weather extremes. And humanity stands at a tipping point. What we can see is that in recent years, especially this year, we had the warning that this year could be one of the most hottest years, or a lot of
50
these
years or something.
extreme weathers that is happening. It is not only, I think, because of the whole change of the world of the globe. It's also because of maybe human actions that is happening in the world.
The typical themes, we mentioned it, right? Carbon emissions, reducing carbon emissions through cleaner energy and EVs and energy efficiency. And we talk about those things a lot on Roundtable, as we should, by the way. But this time around, for the day, it's about rethinking how, for example, we produce food or build cities or use our natural resources, and maybe even how we define economic success. Maybe that is getting a new definition. So in other words, I guess it's not just about changing our energy sources, it's about changing the systems that we employ, the systems that shape our daily lives. It's about adjusting them to be kinder to our planet.
Yeah, and another important shift is the understanding that climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution, they are deeply connected. They're intertwined into each other. Protecting forests, wetland, oceans, and wildlife is a core part of all that. And that's why this year's theme talks about repairing our relationship with the climate. It's really about rebuilding our relationship with nature. And in the meantime, that theme also highlights the climate action is ultimately about people. Like you said, Steve, about how we process things in our lives and how we treat climate change as individuals.
Here in China, the the initiative is called Beautiful China. So what does that actually mean?
Yeah, in 2014, China officially included June 5th as the annual Environment Day in its environmental protection law, which is giving this global event a Chinese connotation. And also the national event on the Environment Day 2026 is jointly organized by several regions, Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau, the Greater Bay Area. And that event is in Guangzhou. So under the theme of comprehensive green transition and jointly build a beautiful China, that is a nationwide Beautiful China Promotion Week is launched. So the whole event that about Beautiful China is, I think, happening not only during this specific period, but the whole year and the whole period that different areas, different regions are doing their own ways according to their own situations separately.
Yeah, it's been going on for at least a decade. We hear the phrase beautiful China quite often, especially for our Chinese listeners. And when we hear it, you might think about like blue skies, the clear rivers, lush forests, and beautiful landscapes. But it's more than that. This concept is much more than just protecting natural environment. Those, of course, are certainly part of the picture, but the idea goes to building this holistic system from protecting the environment to guiding people how it is an important part of everybody's life, despite the fact that where you live in the cities or in rural areas. So this concept was first introduced all the way back in 2012. It highlighted the importance of ecological civilization and calling for environmental protection to be integrated into every aspect of development. And then at around 2015, this concept was incorporated into China's 13th five-year plan. Now, what that means is that every five-year plan means whatever is pointed out in the first year of that plan wants to see outcome demonstrated at the fifth year of that plan, which means that this is officially where we're going, and we want to see outcome from each and every province and regions all over China that you guys need to work on this. So that's when this officially happened. Then fast forward to 2025, 16 government departments jointly released an implementation plan calling for advancing both the Beautiful China and Healthy China initiatives. That's where we see the connection where this country really combines our natural environment and ecological preservation with people's health.
Yeah, and it's not just about saying things either. In May of this year, China issued a formal assessment system for evaluating how local governments are progressing towards the goals of building that beautiful China. So it's not just lip service.
Nope.
It's putting plans in place, but not just putting plans in place. Then they build an assessment system to make sure that local governments are following through on their promises. So it's not just about planting trees, which they do a great job of here in China. It's not just about setting environmental targets, which they also do a great job of here in China, but it's about increasing the number of institutions and the number of laws that are needed to make those goals last.
Exactly, and that reminded me of that we also had a discussion on the establishment of China's first 5 national parks. And actually this year is the 5th anniversary of the formal establishment of that.
5 national parks in China?
Exactly. And expanding, I think, several regions, and is really huge land. And it is making it a fitting moment to look at how far the country's conservation efforts have come. And China's these national park system has now entered a new phase of high-quality development with the goal of building the world's largest national park network by 2035. And another milestone, I think you just mentioned it, Steve. It is not only about planting more trees, it is also about several laws that is being implemented. So the implementation of country's first dedicated national park law on January the 1st, 2026 is providing a stronger legal framework for conservation. And across the parks, populations of these flagship or very rare species like the Tibetan antelopes, snow leopards, Siberian tigers, samurai leopards, giant pandas, and also the critically endangered Hainan gibbon have all shown encouraging recovery. So different national parks are for different types of species. So they're protecting different species and animals.
I think, well, we were chatting before the show and we were trying to figure out if I was actually in one of those national parks because when we went to Chengdu, we went to see the pandas. And we kind of struggled with where to go because as a tourist, if you look online, you'll see that there's a panda center just outside of Chengdu. If you take a taxi from downtown, it's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes max.
That's
it's
fast.
very close. But then there's another one like an hour or an hour and a half away, and there's different opinions online about where to go. But the general consensus is the one closest to downtown is the one with the most tourists. But we thought, okay, we don't love that part of it, but let's just go because it's the most convenient. I was blown away. We were blown away. That park is stunning, absolutely stunning. And it's huge. You feel like you're in the middle of a jungle and everything is pristine, clean. You hear the birds chirping and you see the gorgeous, gorgeous flora and fauna. And then all of a sudden, there's this cute, adorable panda bear sitting on the ground eating bamboo, which, by the way, they are masters of. Obviously,
sure.
But still, I was kind of blown away by that, too. And I sat and I stared for 20 minutes watching a panda eat bamboo. And the park does such a wonderful job of creating. Basically, it is their natural environment, but they just fence them in. But it's not small at all. These are big spaces for these pandas to have they have their own apartment, essentially. And there's many different apartments around the grounds. It was one of the moments you guys shared your moments of when you kind of connected with nature.
Yeah.
I felt very connected with nature walking around that park. So China does a really wonderful job with its parks as well.
I think that is one of the biggest parts of the establishment of these national parks because they are not only doing the reservation thing, they're not only protecting the animals, not only protecting or increasing the biodiversity, they're also creating new opportunities for local communities, maybe,
Right.
for ecological related jobs, for ecotourism and other green industries, demonstrating how conservation and also sustainable development can advance together.
All right. Well, let's switch gears now because we have a conversation that we want to share with you, our listener. And it's a conversation that Feifei and I had with an impressive young woman named Tahomina Sultana. Tahomina is from Bangladesh, where dengue fever causes great problems for the local communities. She, of course, is and was aware of the problem. But the impressive thing is that she came up with a solution that could save lives in the future. Please enjoy our chat. Hi, I'm Steve Hatherley from Roundtable, and I thank you very much for being with us today for what promises to be a really informative and interesting conversation. Today is World Environment Day. It's a day to think about how climate change is affecting lives everywhere, from rising seas to disease outbreaks. It affects everyone around the whole planet. And joining Feifei and I today is someone who's actually doing something about it. Tahomina Sultana is a master's student at Tsinghua University who came from Bangladesh to study environmental engineering. But she's not just a student. She's already built and funded multiple projects back home, including the focus of our chat today, a dengue warning system called the Dengue Prevention Hub. Also, an earthquake alert app. Also, a household waste management system. Now, you put all that together, and you would know that she knows how to build tech that saves lives. Thank you so much for being with us today. Feifei, good afternoon to you, too.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon.
Yeah, Tahomina, it's a pleasure for us to have you with us today. And as I said already, I think this is going to be a really informative conversation about what's going on in Bangladesh, your home country, but also how dengue fever is related there. So thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. World Environment Day. It's really honored to speak here, an environment topic on our Environment Day.
Well, as I mentioned, we're going to focus our conversation on your app called the Dengue Prevention Hub. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the capital of Bangladesh, Dhaka. As far as I know, it's in the center of the country, and that's the extent of my knowledge. So, could you walk us through what a typical summer day would be like in Dhaka?
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Like before we drive inside the Dhaka, we need to understand the Bangladesh first. Even though Bangladesh is not a big country, it's a small country, but it's around 173 million people over there. It's a really small country, and inside there, Dhaka is a middle center and is our capital cities also. So most of our country's people, almost too many people are lived inside the Dhaka capital city because they are for work, because of work purposes. That's the center. And summer when it's coming through there, so people are gathering. So as you know that summer means sweatings and then too many people if gathering some places, definitely we have waste over there too many. So according to Bangladesh perspective, especially in Dhaka cities, we don't have too many management, like especially waste management and other people are working there over. So waste, water outside, you can find drainage system that's also not like a proper way. So that's the perfect summer season where they have like dengues and other like seasonal going to be attacked you soon. So as you know that Bangladesh is for 6 seasons known.
I did not know that. So winter,
So
spring, summer, fall,
yeah, and rainy season.
a rainy season, and dry season.
Yes.
I see. Okay. So based on what you said, then summertime is the perfect time for dengue to
Breeding around.
Yeah, the dengue mosquitoes to breed and to cause a lot of problems in the city of Dhaka. Tahomina, would you say that people are well informed about what dengue is? I'd like to talk about that for a moment because I've heard of it for myself. I've heard of it before. I kind of know what it is, but I also kind of don't know what it is. Would you say that that's the situation for people in Bangladesh? And maybe you could inform us a little bit about the dangers of dengue fever in general.
So dengue fever, as you know, that dengue comes from a little insects we call like mosquitoes. They have two different. They have the recognitions of black and white stripes on their bodies, and they are quite a little bit larger than the normal mosquitoes around us. But like dengues become more and more get major attractions because of people. According to Bangladesh perspective view, summer is coming there, rainy seasons over there, and they have drainage like drainaries. Those are not good enough. So after summer, water over there, waste over there, those are the good place for breeding out for mosquitoes too much. As day by day mosquitoes are like breeding too much, inside there are also dengue, one of the mosquito, there's also breeding too much. So people when they get bite mosquito, so the first of that is a normal like fever. They thought it's a seasonal fever that we have a seasonal fever. So
They're thinking this is nothing. It's going to go
nothing at
away
all.
in a couple of days.
Yeah, it's totally different. Like outside all other countries, if we have something little with symptoms like fevers or other, we actually try to consult with doctor. So we want to check up first. But in our countries, we technically those are common diseases. We don't go too much hospital over there. So we try to do that at our home, like by myself. For example, fevers, cough. We just take some antibiotics. That's it. It's going to be gone soon. So we need to take rest and take the antibiotics. And okay, the same case happening in Bangladesh also for dengue fever. When they got fever, they thought it's also seasonal normal fever. So they taking the antibiotics, waiting, and after 7 days, 14 days, it's not gone, and it's got worse, more and more. And then finally, when they try to contact with doctor, went to hospital, some of them actually figured out it's a dengue fever. Luckily, they got treatment, few of them, and they might be survived, but most of them are not able to survive because they are less time, and then especially for children, kids, less than 5 years old one, and also like elder people more than like 50 plus, they don't have much time for recovery themselves. As a result, that silly mosquitoes bite, get their lives.
Tahomina, let's talk about the app, Dengue Prevention Hub. Before we learn how you came up with the app, when did you realize that I think we need to do something about this in Bangladesh, in Dhaka? This is a serious problem. Something needs to be done. I'm going to come up with an idea. Was there a moment that stood out for you?
One of my worker during the work time, he is around 60 up, a grandpa. He is working over there, and some 3 days he constantly worked there, and he bring with his, we call it paracetamol, it's like antibiotic tablets. He took it with him and he worked. And I told him, if you are sick, you need to take a leave for some times. But he said that it's just a normal fever. If I take this medicine, I will get well soon. So I don't need to take a leave for this one. Then after 14 days, it's figured out that he's absent, he's hospitalized, and figured out he got dengue. And then, like, we are taking more than 1 month for recovering him. And thanks God, he recovered and come back to work again. But during that time, I figured out the hospital, they have that's seasonal time, too many people over there. It's a longer line. Mothers brought their kids with them for dengue. They have the fever because they don't know that. So they took their kids, and then lots of like elder people and similar people also over there. But most of the cases for fever. So it's a huge longer line. In our countries, almost have 650 public hospital. So huge long line only for fever cases, because they don't know that what happening. It's like 7 days gone, still fever going on. So they are come up here because they're vomiting and other symptoms happening. So I figured out people don't know the general knowledge about dengue. This need to be like simple, like the simple silly feel like dengue attack. It can be prevented earlier, then we don't need to come up a longer huge line.
Okay, so tell us about the app itself. How does it work? For people in Bangladesh, people in Dhaka, they open up the app. What do they see? How does it help them?
Okay, so it's my apps, that one comes totally different concept of view. So if we are thinking about the apps or something, we must need a smartphone. We need the apps, Google Store, like Google Apps or like App Store. We need to go and download the apps.
You need a smartphone.
Yeah. So that's my concept is coming from in Bangladesh perspective view. How many people can use that smartphone in country? Most of them are not. Because in our countries, is really rarely people are using the internet. So like internet might be available in country but smartphone is not that much, is still not usable. So that's the coming point. So my target was that local people, those who are not able to use those internet too much, don't have the smartphone app capability. So I thinking about rather than going Play Store and other store, App Store, you need to download it and then install it, then log in, other stuff. You need to do a lot of things. Instead of that, my like idea is coming from, let's do that web-based version. So people don't need to go like PWA versions. You don't need to go download anything. You can directly go to the website. You can use it like apps, it's online apps, web-based apps. So you can go over there, logging over there if you want. And if you want to use that in your phone, you just easily just put it down on your phone screen. So we developed as an app style. It totally looks like an apps, but you don't need to use your own phone space for using.
So what kind of data feeds into the app then? What's on that website? What's in the app that's helping people?
Okay, so my apps is basically have 4 steps. Like totally, if you're thinking about the structure, is work as in four steps. The first one, the lower level, is called communities. So community is basically the people who are going to be involving there, like general peoples. So they are going to be reporting. For example, I do have a lot of water or drainage problem. So user just take a picture over there and upload it, and the places will automatically, we got it, like their according GPS location, we got it. So when they submit their report over there, so they have drainage, we need to do that quickly. So it's got back end. It's already reported, and the user, like it's a third level, so the worker, so they are going to be got the report, and they will check it, the report, how important is it, that this one is happening because of AI system. So when someone is reporting users, so it's AI, our main brain, so it's going to be or give you the percentage about the higher percentage, how risk level. So if that is urgent, need to do that immediately, quick evaluations. It's management and also educated people. So we do also have an AI system, education system. So people, the community people, for example, if I am a community member, I do have a scaling system, like how much I'm participating in that community. So I get my own self a number. So day by day it will increasing. So you can see yourself like how I am involved with my communities. So it's make you like boosting you up to do more and more better.
Yeah, it's encouraging you to take part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like being in school when you're a young child, right? You get a kind of reward for participation.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of concept here.
It's also a very complex system. I mean, you're not only building up a very smart system using AI technology, you also need community participation. You also need to have knowledge, for example, about the dengue fever, about the disease itself, and also about the environment around you. Would you consider it a sort of a challenge when it comes to?
Yes, it's actually technically the prototype is really complicated. Because of that, we involved with AI doctors. So how does it work? It's like Ren. So people, when they have the fever, symptom fever, they do over there and put out the answers. Like we do have bunches of, we trained our model like that way. So we do have a lot of questions over like there. So you just fill up what's your symptoms over there, and it's give you the result that do you have muscular, what kind of diseases you might be have. So it's dengue or it's a normal fever over there. If it's percentage like higher, it's already give you the like recommendation what you need to do. If it's like sometimes it's higher percentage, then it will definitely suggesting you to go your hospital. But we do have a good structure like where you are right now, it give you your nearest location hospital available.
Perfect.
Right? So you can do the schedule over there, directly consultant, like if that only higher emergencies, like risk level is super high, then it's automatically give you the nearest health care hotline numbers. So you directly can talk with the doctors over there. So you don't need to go over there. You can take the preliminary health care during the phone or our systems. So you can take the medical steps first and then further go to the hospital. Don't need to be wait a longer line or don't know what to do.
Alert meaning you're in
SMS.
a...
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I am a worker, for example, in TACA, my worker have different sector. Each sector they are working. So if you are responsible for a sector, then you got if someone is reporting on your A sector, you did directly got in your phone your SMS. Like you have a report, you need to check quickly. So you don't need to be every time check your back end. So is that any kind of report or not? So he can directly check. Okay, I need to do something quickly.
Okay, so that's for the workers. What about for the general public?
The general public, like if something happening, like some areas, we figured out this one is higher percentage of dengue fever right now breeding out. So we are already sending back this SMS to give them an like early warning. So this area is involving right now risk percentage. So you need to taking care of it, this area. So each sector, we can send an early warning SMS to them.
Now, here's another challenge I guess might be happening. Could be wrong, but I'm thinking that if you're dealing with, I know, my grandmother and my grandfather, may they rest in peace, but they were very stubborn people. And even if they knew they were sick, going to the hospital would be the last option available. Even if people know, they get the warning, they see the statistic for sector A or what have you, is it difficult to convince people to listen to those messages, to follow those warnings? What kind of feedback are you getting there?
Yeah, that's a really important questions. According to as you told that older peoples and people don't get adapted the technologies. So during we build this, our main target is connected with the people. So they get the use the AI that we are creating to easier their lives. So AI, basically we're using AI for easier their lives. So when we're people try to first adapting, coming something, so don't too much give the priorities. They knew it, something happening, it's going to be helping, but still they don't want to involve in it. So we are trying those community. So in our community involvements, that's the percentage. If you do something better, you got the scores. It give you more and more involving. The same thing we are also have in local level. We have booth boot stops, like we do a lot of seminars and a lot of health working types. So involving elder peoples, and even inside the key school, we're trying to make a session. So like do that, we also did like our recent one, we tried to do a tree planting campaign. So inside the tree planting campaign, inside the rural area in Bangladesh, the kids from the school, they are going to tree planting around surrounding areas. For elder people, we are going to go with them. Food, like we provide them food instead of give them food and then talk inside them. So in this kind of apps, we have how they're going to be helpful to them. If we're going to be contribute here, then it's going to be really helpful. And almost I have it's still in testing phase. So almost 3 years right now. So after the testing phase, more than 5,000 users right now. Still in
that's the user base right now.
User base currently for more than 5,000, but it's still in testing phase. We still didn't make it public because one of these dengue fever apps, we still didn't make it public. But during this users, they used it and give us the feedback. So I got really blessing from them. So every time they are trying to collaborate with me, they're giving really good feedback, but that really usable. So the community persons, they don't think about they're just a user. They also think about the developer of these apps, because they're day by day contributing here. Their thoughts are actually whatever they give us, suggesting us, they give feedback. Actually, next time we bring back that idea.
Listening to what Tahomina is describing, thinking that's a very detailed and really localized plan, and for 3 years,
Yes.
right? And now covers 5,000 users. And got me really curious about your journey, from having that idea about, we have this problem in Bangladesh and I need to solve this, to actually launching a website, having workers, involving communities, and also having educational plans on the ground. There's also computer engineering, right? Now at Tsinghua University, you are studying environmental engineering. These two somewhat similar, or they're vastly different? And how do you make this connection?
Computer science and engineering help you to understand the idea. What is IT? How can you do those things? It's just a normal knowledge, because might be after 3 years, right now is AI really popular right now. So everyone is talking those. You don't need to know about coding. You don't need to anything. Whatever your idea is going to come out. So before that, we need to think about in 2016, 2020, that time. AI is not that much capable, but only the way we can conducting with IT section, we need to know that knowledge. So environment, like computer engineering, computer science will help you to understand the structure about this IT. So all this programming, all those codes, everything. And after I learned that, I know that how to do those stuff. I know that idea. So I need to solve the problem. To understand the problem, I need to go their main core. So I was decided to solving the environment problems. So I decided to let's understand the environment engineering. So it's helped me to understand the current and environment and like our health adaptations, those problems, where those problems actually happening. So I can learn during my study in Tsinghua, I can start learning about them. So I understand what's the problem happening, how we can solve using our my IT knowledge. I can involve inside there, so it can make it more easier. So that's the reason I was thinking about to collaborate both of them together. So give them an user friendly to other people.
Yeah, so it's basically sort of at the intersection of technology, computer science, to climate, and maybe some other sectors, for example, in education or in health.
Psychology.
Psychology maybe.
Trying to influence people to accept this new app or this new tech into their lives because it's there to help them. It's just made me realize, and I don't know if I've realized this before, but solving community-based problems needs community communication, of course, but it involves so many things from so many different sectors. And the people who are making the decisions on how to help the community need to understand that there are a lot of different factors at play. And that's why, and we've talked about this on Roundtable before too, why interdisciplinary study at university for young students, you're at a crossroads of your study, how that helped you understand how to create a solution to a problem that you identified within your own community.
And that's also made me think about the reason that seeking solutions. Actually, the story that I know Tahomina is very interesting is because one of her competitions that she pitched this dengue prevention hub project to a competition called the Action Hackathon 2025. From there, I start to understand, right now the universities are thinking about, yes, we have great ideas. We have found theory background. But the thing is, our thesis may not be able to solve real-world problems. And that's why this kind of competition is sort of helping you guys, helping young engineers, young climate scientists to actually find real solutions for real-world problems and then connect them to an industry company. For example, I think Tahomina's, some of her projects, you talked about they're getting tested on the ground. So maybe someday in the future, we'll see more similar projects from you in Bangladesh?
Yeah, definitely. I will try my best. I was always trying to solve. My main focus is for, as you said, that universities are most focused about the knowledge right now. So every year, lots of students go outside. They got graduated with really good, fascinating ideas. They have a huge problem solution ideas, but it's already all inside the paper. So some of them are just doing the papers over there, publishing paper. So that's it. But they have too many solutions. But those are educational life. But our real life, we also have the same problem. Even though they have a lot of papers over there, they have lots of ideas. How do we solve this one? But we really have less people are actually trying to, in real life, solve that problem. So this kind of problem, so we have a lot of competition, hackathon, climate hackathon. Those competition actually helped us. So what kind of ideas, brainstorming ideas we do have, we're trying to test it inside that. So test it, is it actually work or not? So it's helping you to, your concept, make it good day by day. So for example, this idea also coming from the competition I participated. I try to participate a lot of competitions. The reason I participated, I do have an idea. I have a visionary how to done these things, but I need the feedback from other people. The first, as in students, time. So we don't have too many users. So how can I test it our ideas? So is that actually workable or not? So we try to participate the competitions to test on it and check those already have knowledgeable people. What's their feedback? Is that actually good or not? Is the direction is correct or not? So we participate over there and get their feedback over there. Even though we are not win, like our last case happening, I participated over there. I'm not able to enter the final round, but that project right now got a lot of investment. Why I get this one? Because I'm not able to enter the final round. That's okay. I don't stop over there. I try to come back and then improving my ideas more and more and then representing once again to them. So after representing them, the investors get attracted. So they're investing on me.
Tahomina Sultana, congratulations, because what you've done is you've designed something that is making a difference to people who need it. It's making a difference in their everyday lives. Thank you so much for joining Fei and I today on World Environment Day. It was the perfect time to discuss this type of topic. And I must apologize, we didn't get to talk about the list of projects that you're working on, but hopefully we can have a chance to speak with you again in the future.
Yeah, definitely, sure. And thank you so much.
Thanks, Fei.
Thank you.
Thank you once again to Tahomina Sultana for the inspiring conversation. We certainly hope that you enjoyed that.